Hey, what's happening? YouTubers are back with a brand new action figure review, and today we have the brand new Marvel Legends Spider-Man Homecoming Ned Leeds and Peter Parker 2-pack. I am so hyped to get this in. Reason being is because of this man right here, Ned Leeds, holding it down for the Filipinos in the MCU. I just got this from Amazon.com, and to be honest, this is my second now blind box, or the second Marvel Legends box that I've had with the new plastic-free packaging. And I'm kind of weary because the first one I got was that Wolverine figure, which was a disaster in my opinion. But yeah, without further ado, like we always do with our reviews, let's get started with the box art first. So on the front of the box, you see the digital renders of the figures. The Spider-Man Homecoming logo on the bottom, Marvel Legends logo on the top, Ned Leeds and Peter Parker are there. And then on the side of the box, you see some more digital renders, which, man, it's really obvious that these are digital renders. And that Tom Holland looks like suspicious to me. And then on the back is kind of cool. It just shows Tom being confused why he wear the mask. And it designates which accessory piece goes to which character in the box. And then the side shows the image of the homemade suit. And then the Midtown School of Science and Technology badge right there, or patch. And if I'm being like transparent with y'all, this box looks like crap. You know what this looks like? This looks like those people in the Marvel Legends groups or on Instagram that are like, here's my mock-up of what my next Marvel Legends figure looks like. Like, this is what this box looks like, essentially. Aesthetically, I think this is, like, meh. Same goes for all the other boxes that they're coming out now with the plastic-free packaging. I'm sure as time goes on, Hasbro will improve on the art design, but in terms of this, just looks like meh. All right, that's enough about this mediocre and strange box art. Let's go and get this figure out of the box, and I waited to open this up because I want to see if there's any QC issues, because lately people on Facebook have been saying they've seen swaps, they've seen wrong accessories being packaged with it. Just to show y'all, the tape is still there and intact, but I'm doing this live because that last one I got from the Wolverine VHS pack was ass. So let's see how this is. Hopefully it's the actual figures in the box. Use the X-Acto knife to go and open this. First time busting out the X-Acto knife since I cut my finger with it. All right. And then, of course, you all know what to expect when you open this up. So, when you open it up... Okay, it looks like it's actually the figures from what I'm seeing so far. We got... God, this thing just looks so bad. Alright, so Peter Parker turned out fine. Now let's see if the figure I've actually been looking forward to looks okay. So I'm not sure if this is how it's supposed to be, but he's packed in with the Spider-Man mask already on there. Now let's go ahead and fix this ankle joint so he can stand up. And now let's see the accessories to make sure his unmasked head sculpt is there. Okay, cool. So everything is in there, thankfully. Even Ned Leeds' head sculpt turned out fine. Good. All right, so here's Peter and Ned out of the box with their accessories. And thankfully, there was no QC issues or swapped out parts or swapped out figures. But we're going to take a look at Peter Parker first, just because when we get that out of the way, then we'll focus on Ned Leeds afterwards. So Peter does come with more accessories in this 2-pack, which is understandable because he's Spider-Man. But he comes with his JanSport backpack, which is pretty interesting. I mean, it's pretty plain. There are some details on there. You see the zippers right there and the straps. So this should work with any Marvel Legends. And then he comes with an additional head sculpt where he kind of looks like Crispin Glover. And I remember when this figure was first announced, I was like, holy crap, Crispin Glover finally signed his likeness over to make merchandise. But I don't think I'm going to pose any Spider-Man figures with this head sculpt just because it looks weird. I don't think it looks like him. Well, who do you all think it looks like? Do you think it looks like Tom Holland? Because I sure as hell don't. And then he also comes with his notebook. Real original. And also two-fisted hands, which is cool. I'll probably see if this works with other Marvel Legends figures. And the ones he has on there right now are kind of like relaxed ones to hold like his notebook and stuff like that. But I might pose him with these fisted ones. Now let's take a look at the figure itself. Let's get started with his head sculpt first. And The likeness to Tom Holland is kind of there. I mean, we're basing this off the first movie look, and yeah, I can kind of see a little bit of his likeness in there. But at certain angles, it kind of looks like he's like bruised on his face. But the likeness is definitely there. The sculpting of the hair looks pretty good. Now, when comparing it to like the Far From Home head sculpt, I would say it's probably about the same. A little bit of improvement on this one, I think. I think this one looks a little bit like Harry Styles. But this one does look pretty nice. Now, look at the rest of the figure. I do like the attention to detail on like his collar. He has one that's like out and one that's still tucked in. I do like the texture on his sweater. And then, I mean, sculpting throughout, you can see like his button-up shirt, like his flannel shirt sticking out from the bottom right there. Everything is entirely pinless, so in terms of aesthetics, that's the standard, right? With MCU figures, all pinless going forward. I do like the diaphragm cut right here, so that's nice to see. There's no ab crunch, it's the actual diaphragm cut. And then when we look at his shoes, I think it's the reuse. I think we've seen this before with a Shang-Chi figure. But in terms of articulation, let's go and take a look. So his head is on a ball joint, so it can move around like that. It's kind of the same ordeal where the neck can also move too. So it's not sculpted on the torso, so you want to make sure it's lined up like that. There is a shoulder swivel, bicep swivel, double jointed elbows, which gets you, a really good range. That just looks weird. Look at that. Of course, like I mentioned, a diaphragm cut, no waist cut right there. His legs can go up that high and not so far back. The thigh cut is right there as well. And double jointed pinless knees, which can, wow, it's pretty good range actually. And then, of course, ankle articulation and ankle pivot. Now let's take a look at Ned Leeds. And of course, like I mentioned, Peter had most of the accessories. Ned only has two. It's him wearing the Spider-Man mask, which I think is pretty awesome. If or when they ever give us like a chubby Spider-Man, this head sculpt will definitely work well on there. But you can see the difference between his Spider-Man mask and Peter's. The neck is more elongated because it's not part of the suit. But there's a nice attention to detail on here. And of course, the backpack that he's sporting isn't the same color as Tom's. It's a camo one, which is pretty cool. I'm not sure if this is how it looked in the movie. I have to rewatch Homecoming because it's been a minute, but that's a nice touch. They could have very well cheapened out and just given us two of the same backpacks, but it's nice they gave us a variant. Now, also go to the figure itself. Let's get started with the head sculpt first, and I think the photo real tech for this was on point. This figure definitely looks like the actor portraying Ned Leeds. I think I'm saying this right, Jacob Batalon, but I like the sculpting of the hair. It came out really well. And the face sculpt definitely looks like the actor. It looks like Ned Leeds. Let me know what you all think in the comments below. I'm going to take a look at the rest of the figure. I do like the overall design of it. The only problem is, I understand why they went with the rubber overlay. It does look good, but the problem is it hinders the articulation in the midsection by adding that rubber overlay. And also, admittedly, because he is a pudgier dude, which I'm not going to front, I am too, you do have single jointed elbows, but they're still pinless at the legs, which are also double jointed. So, man, even that's still not bad for a figure of his stature. There is a thigh cut at the top there, and I think he might be rocking new kicks. I might be wrong. Let me know in the comments below. Unless these are Quicksilver shoes from the MCU last year. I don't think they are, but I like the little cuffs at the jeans. That's pretty cool. But overall design of this, it looks cool. It's nice to have a Ned Leeds figure, and he's got a little stopwatch right there. I'm going to do one head swap. Let's see if it works. All right, here's the head swap I wanted to try. As you all know and probably have seen, Ned Leeds in the comic book eventually turns into the Hobgoblin. I just wanted to see if this head sculpt worked on the retro card Hobgoblin, and it does. Aesthetically, it just looks kind of weird, though, because he does have a big head. But I just wanted to do this for fun. I might do some cool toy photography shots with this, with him and Peter. But let me know what you think in the comments below. And do you think in the MCU at some point they're going to turn Ned Leeds into the Hobgoblin? I'm of the minority saying I don't want them to because I kind of like the character the way he is, but you never know with the MCU. Now we're just going to jump right into size comparisons. And first size comparison, here's Ned and Peter sitting next to MJ. So it's cool to have the trio together. And this MJ, if you guys remember, came in a 2-pack with Spider-Man. Speaking of which, here's that Spider-Man figure where he's rocking his school blazer. And next size comparison here, they are sitting next to the homemade suit. And in terms of scaling, I guess it works pretty well because he's about the same height as this figure. And I did want to see if this head swap would work, and it did. So you can put the new head sculpt on the homemade suit and still work fine. I just have to attach the piece where his hoodie is down But I think it looks okay. Let me know what you think in the comments below. And here's where scaling kind of gets thrown off, because you can see this Peter figure is taller than the Spider-Man Far From Home figure in his upgraded suit. So scaling is a little bit off, but not too much. And next size comparison, here they are sitting next to J. Jonah Jameson. And last size comparison, here they are sitting next to the Marvel Legends movie Venom. Some overall thoughts on these figures are they're dope, to be honest with you. They're brand new body molds, brand new sculpts, and all pinless nonetheless. And if you don't like these figures, you can still use them as civilian bodies for your ACBA shots. But I do like them. I do like the masked Spider-Man head with Ned. I think Jesse Falcon was the one that really pushed for that, so shouts to Jesse Falcon. If y'all don't know who he is, he's one of the godfathers of Toy Biz Marvel Legends, along with Dave Vonner and them. But yeah, I'm so stoked to get this 2-pack in, just because we can complete the trio with Ned. And as I mentioned, it's a little bit sentimental for me as a Filipino person to see a Filipino actor be made in Marvel Legends form. But yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments below, YouTubers. Are you going to be picking it up? What do you think about the new box art? Because me personally, I think it looks like ass. But I'm just keeping it 100. But yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And like always, if you like what you see, be sure to hit the like button. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, go ahead and subscribe. Thanks for watching.